Good morning, respected adjudicators, honorable judges, and all participants. First of all, let us thank to God to His blessing and grace so that we are able to gather here today in good health to participate in this debate session. My name is Lufiah Azzahra and I will be your master of ceremony for today's debate session. It is a pleasure for me to guide you through this event. Today's motion is this house believes that online learning is more effective than face-to-face learning. We will have two teams. Both teams will present their arguments and respond to each other. I hope everyone can participate well and keep the debate respectful and engaging. Without further ado, let us begin the debate. Thank you. So, I would like to invite the first speaker from the proposition team. You may begin your speech.
The honorable educators, respected opponents, ladies and gentlemen. Today I stand before you here as the Prime Minister that firmly support the motion regarding online learning is more effective than face-to-face learning. Okay, online learning is a learning process that can be virtually through some digital platforms like Zoom, Google Classroom, and Google Meet. Okay, that propose to the flexibility. Okay, allow me to present to you, give to you are my 3 points of arguments that strongly support our position. The first, online learning is over flexibility in its implementations. Students and educators are no longer bound by physical, classroom, or strict geographical limitations. This flexibility allows learners to manage their time more effectively, enabling them to balance academic responsibility with personal needs. Second one, online learning significantly reduces cost and physical strain. In traditional systems, students often spend considerable time and money commuting to school or university. Transportation, expense, accommodation, and daily necessity can become financial burdens, especially for those living far from educational institutions. The third, online learning has been proven effective based on research and survey. According to 2020 study conducted by Ministry of Education and Culture, approximately 70 until 81% of university students and lecturers found online learning to be highly effective. The effectiveness is large due to its flexibility, which allows learners to focus better and engage more deeply with the materials. In conclusion, online learning is merely an alternative. It's a powerful, practical solution for modern education. Therefore, as a Prime Minister, I strongly believe that online learning should be more recognized and supported as the valuable approach to education in today's world. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for the opposition team. Now, I would like to invite the first speaker from the opposition team. You may begin your speech. Honorable educator, respected opponents, as the leader of the opposition, I strongly oppose the argument presented by the proposition. First, regarding the claim that online learning offers flexibility. While flexibility may sound beneficial, in reality, it often reduces discipline and structure in learning. Not all students are capable of managing their time effectively. Many struggle with procrastination and lack of motivation when learning without supervision. Unlike physical classroom, where teachers provide direct guidance and structure, online learning places too much responsibilities on students, which can negatively affect consistency and outcomes. Second, on the issue of cost and physical convenience, although online learning may reduce transportation expenses, this argument overlooks a bigger issue: unequal access. Many students who cannot afford stable internet, proper devices, or suitable learning environment at home. In fact, instead of reducing inequality, online learning often highlights and emphasizes the gap between students from different economic backgrounds. Offline classroom ensure that all students receive equal facilities and learning conditions. Third, regarding the effectiveness of online learning based on research, we don't deny that some students show positive results. However, effectiveness depends heavily on context and conditions. Many surveys conducted during emergency situations, such as the pandemic, reflect temporary adaptation rather than long-term effectiveness. Moreover, academic performance alone does not represent overall education's quality. It also includes social development. Communication skills and discipline are areas where online learning is clearly weaker than offline classroom. While online learning may support education in certain cases, it cannot replace or outperform offline classroom learning in terms of structure, equality, and holistic development. Therefore, we firmly maintain our opposition to this motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. Now, I would like to invite the second speaker from the proposition team. You may begin your speech.
Okay. The winner of the specifically, Hania said that the online learning is keeping the student going more focused and the university is more seen in the online class. That's now changing the we can easily sync it up like physical interaction with the learning project or from the forum. If your point is that we reduce physical interaction in online class, moreover, regarding the point of the internet access, the solution is to improve the infrastructure, not the export the online class. We must look at the majority. As the Prime Minister said, the time is a morning is a more cup and more student friendly than the opposition concerned. No? In fact, as the manager said, that the 70 and 81% from the 20 and 20 baby achieved a capability, the student feel more be highly effective because of the flexibility can mention that if they can engage in their peak of focus in that time. Maybe the thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. Okay, I would like to invite the second speaker from the opposition team. You may begin your speech.
Okay, good morning, venerable educators, respected government bench, and my fellow speakers. I am Aulia. As the deputy leader of the opposition, I will do two things. The first is to rebut the Deputy Prime Minister's responses and then to reinforce why their model of online learning remains flawed and ineffective. So, the Deputy Prime Minister said that online learning encourages physical interaction, but you say that we can substitute it with live online meetings and online learnings, but actually, interaction is not about just communication. It's about human presence, emotional connections, and then spontaneous discussion that online learning cannot fully replicate. And then second, government should provide internet, and this is actually the government's mistake to not provide infrastructure for both online learning and offline learning. And then you mentioned that in the pandemic era, online learning become the alternative for education. But this is actually an emergency adaptation, and emergency adaptation should not be mistaken for engagement during that period. And then you also say that online learning makes even when the student is unprepared to join the online class, we can still join the class first and listening to it. But it is actually a form of reducing discipline. When we learn while we are doing something, our focus becomes separated, and this is a disadvantage. In conclusion, the government fails to address the real-world impact of online learning, while they only focus on potential and ideal conditions, while we highlight the actual limitations and consequences. Their model overestimate independence and overstate effectiveness. In addition, we can use technologies to support as supporting tool while preserving our offline learning as the core. This ensures both quality and equality in education. For these reasons, we firmly oppose the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the opposition team. Now, I would like to invite the third speaker from the opposition team to make the speech.
Good afternoon, honorable educators, respected opponents, and everyone present. As a member of the government, I would like to support the motion that online learning is beneficial for university students and lecturers. First, online learning provides flexibility. University students often have different schedules and responsibilities. With online learning, they can manage their time better and study at their own pace. For example, they can rewatch the lectures if they do not understand the material. Lecturers also benefit because they can prepare and deliver the materials more clearly. This makes the learning process more adaptable for both students and lecturers. Second, online learning helps reduce cost and physical effort. Many students spend a lot of time and money commuting to campus. This can be tiring and affect their focus in class. By learning online, students can study from home, save transportation costs, and use their energy more effectively.
How can you enroll the student understanding about the material that the lecturers send to them with online learning? If the student, we don't know the student environmental at their home, how can you encode their understanding of the material?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, just like what I said before, they can rewatch the material later when they have time. It's not like they don't have time to understand the material at all.
Feel like this?
No, thank you. Okay. So, they also spend less on daily expenses such as food and accommodation. Lecturers also do not need to travel every day, which makes teaching more efficient and less exhausting. Third, online learning has been proven effective. A study in 2020 shows that around 70 to 81% of university students and lecturers find it effective. This means students are still able to understand the material well even without physical classes. In addition, online platforms often provide interactive features such as quizzes, discussions, and assignments that help students stay engaged in the learning process. In addition, online learning also helps improve digital skills.
No. No,
Assignments that help students and lecturers become more familiar with technology, such as online platforms, virtual meetings, and digital research. These skills are very important in today's world and will be useful for their future careers. In conclusion, online learning is flexible, cost-effective, and proven to work. Therefore, I strongly support this motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the opposition team. Now, I would like to invite the third speaker from the opposition team. You may begin your speech.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As a member of the opposition team, I have not agree with the member of government's opinion because online learning does not really provide effective flexibility. While it says that students can manage their own time, in reality, not all students have the discipline to do. Flexibility without structure often leads for poor time management. In face-to-face class, there is a clear schedule and direct supervision, which helps students stay focused and responsible. Second, the claim that online learning reduces costs is not entirely true. Many students still need to spend money on their internet, data, stable Wi-Fi, and power devices such as laptops or smartphones. For some students, especially those from lower income backgrounds, these costs can be even more burdensome than simulation. Therefore, online learning can actually increase inequality rather than reduce expense. Third, the effectiveness of the online learning is questionable. Even if some students show positive results, they do not represent all students. Many students struggle to fully understand the material without direct explanation and interaction. Technical problems such as poor internet connection also improve the learning process and reduce its effectiveness. Furthermore, online learning weakens communication and social environment development. Students have fewer opportunities to actively participate, collaborate, and build relationships. A university is not only about academic knowledge, but also about developing soft skills such as teamwork, communication, and confidence, which are difficult to achieve in online activities. Lastly, online learning can negatively affect students' mental health. Long hours in front of screens, lack of social interaction, and feelings of isolation can lead to stress, burnout, and decreased motivation. This shows that online learning is not always a healthy or sustainable option. In conclusion, online learning is not effective. It creates challenges in discipline, increases inequality, reduces interaction, and impacts students. Therefore, we strongly believe that online learning should not replace face-to-face education. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the third speaker from the opposition team. Now, I would like to invite the fourth speaker from the opposition team. You may begin your speech.
Okay, thank you, honorable educators, respected opponents, and ladies and gentlemen. As the government whip, I will reinforce our teams and show why the opposition has not defeated our case. First, online learning provides flexibility. Students and lecturers are able to manage their time better, learn at their own pace, and access materials anytime. This creates a more adaptable and inclusive learning environment. Second, online learning reduces cost and physical strain. Students no longer need to spend money and energy on commuting. This allows them to focus more on their studies and improves overall efficiency. Third, online learning is proven to be effective. Research shows that 70 to 81% of students and lecturers find it effective, meaning learning outcomes are still achieved even without face-to-face interaction. Now, I will respond to the opposition. They say online learning does not provide real flexibility, but in fact, It allows students to manage their own time and learn at their own pace. These are important skills for their future. They also talk about high costs, but this is not always true. Online learning reduces transportation and living expenses, which can be bigger burden. On effectiveness, studies show that many students are still able to understand the material well, even without face-to-face classes. In conclusion, the opposition only shows problems that can be fixed while we show real benefits. Online learning is flexible, efficient, and useful for the future. Therefore, we strongly stand by this motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the fourth speaker from the opposition team. Now, I would like to invite the fourth speaker from the opposition team. You may begin your speech.
Okay. Honorable educators, respected opponent, and all members of this house. As the opponent whip, my role is clear to summarize this debate and show why our side has been more confident in proving that online learning should not be the main method of education. Here, I will do three things. First is highlight key theses, and second, I will explain why the opposition win these classes, and third is reaffirm why our states remain stronger overall. First is the government consistently claims that online learning provides flexibility and helps students to manage their own time. But here we already see this so-called flexibility often comes at the cost of discipline. With a structured schedule and direct supervision, many students struggle with procrastination, lack of motivation, and inconsistency. And the government says it's about all of the flexibility, but without flexibility without structure and discipline will lead the student into ineffective learning and make the study will fail in the future. And the second is about cost and accessibility. The government agreed that online learning reduce expenses such as transportation and accommodation. However, our side shown that these arguments ignore a more critical issue like unequal access to technology and not all students can afford or conducive environment learning. The third class revolves around effectiveness and quality of education. The government released heavily on statistics showing that online learning can be effective. However, we have explained that effectiveness is not only about academic results. Education also involves communication, social interaction, collaboration, and personal development. These aspects are significantly weaker in online environment. Moreover, technical issues and lack of direct engagement often reduce student understanding of the material. And the government fails to respond to this holistic perspective of education. Another important point raised by our opposition is impact on mental health. The government attempts to minimize this issue by saying the flexibility can reduce stress, but they ignore the physical legal impact of isolation and the importance of a real human connection in the learning process. Once again, you fail to address the real experience faced by the students. So, to be fair, our side
Okay, we have already built our arguments, exposed the weakness in the opposition, and proved why our side stands stronger for the future. We love each very important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the fourth speaker from the opposition team. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of today's debate session. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to all participants for their outstanding performance, as well as the adjudicators and judges for their time and valuable evaluations. Hopefully, today's debate has not only been a competition, but also a meaningful learning experience that helps us develop critical thinking, confidence, and respect for different perspectives. Thank you to everyone who has been part of this session. Finally, I would like to apologize if there were any mistakes during the event. I am Zaskia Meka as your Master of Ceremony, and I would like to say thank you for your attention. See you again, and have a great day. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.